welcome back to episode 3 of the Apartment K podcast. It's your boy Sidy.
And Pagan.
And today we have a topic courtesy of you.
Yeah. I feel like it's just kind of a extension of last week. I think it was last episode's topic, which was, I think I talked about like what I wanted to do for the world and why I wanted to do that. And this week's episode is kind of going to be about how I got there, if that makes sense. Basically, the word of the day is atonement. I wish we can put it like
Atonement. I actually looked it up.
Did you?
Because I was like, I didn't know, like I know what it means, but like I didn't know the specific definition.
Exactly. So funny enough, I just pulled it up. So atonement means reparation for wrong or injury. So the idea of atonement, or just the word atonement, has been a big, what's the word, like a motif in my life. So this episode's going to be kind of geared towards that. So just the beginning of kind of why I really want to help people is because I've been on the other side. I'll say I wasn't necessarily a bully, but I wasn't the nicest. I grew up in Mongolia, but I came here. But I didn't live with my parents for a couple of years of my growing up, maybe like from age 3 to like maybe age 2 to like 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And then I came to America, and then I lived with my parents until I had to move out.
Yeah.
But
until adulthood.
Until adulthood, exactly. So I did grow up with them, but like that kind of base, like those primitive times in my life, I feel like I didn't really grow up with them. And not that I had resentment, because I don't know, I guess I probably did, but I never, during that time, I didn't realize I did. But I was such a B-word to my mom. I think I told you about that before. Just, I remember when I first got here, and just, there was something, I'm sure it was my hormones, my little whatever. I just hated my mom.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably a bit of resentment, too, because, like, she left you. Quote,
yeah,
unquote,
exactly.
in Mongolia. So,
exactly.
Now suddenly you have this woman who's, like,
wants to be your mom, you know?
Yeah, exactly. She claims to be your mom, but she wasn't there for
exactly.
as long as you can remember. So.
Exactly. Because, of course, she called me. We were always in contact. She, like, sent me the best gifts or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. Not she was a stranger because I knew her. But, again, she was a stranger to me.
Yeah, but she wasn't, like, your mom.
Exactly. Like, my aunt and my grandma more so were. Which is fucked up because I never was angry at my dad. And I remember when I was
But it's different. I feel like
it's so different.
It's, moms are, like, special.
Exactly. So, funny enough, we'll go into that later, but I feel like I haven't really fixed my relationship with my mom until, like, my adulthood, until I reached almost 25, you know? Yeah. Even in college, I wasn't the nicest to her, but now I think I really understand what it is to be, obviously not a mother, but what it is to be a woman and how hard it is, you know?
Yeah, and just being an adult in general.
Exactly. You know? And going back to, and I remember when I was like at 13, 14, my mother asked me like, why were you so hard on me? That's when I kind of got over being such like a bitch. I was just so nasty to her. I don't know why, but the resentment, you know. But she asked me, she was like, why were you so mean to me, but not to your dad?
And what did you tell her?
And I remember earnestly being like, I had a lot of women in my life. I felt like I already had a mother. Yeah. But that's why I guess I wasn't mad at my dad, because I never had a father figure. Mm-hmm. It was just mainly women in my life, which isn't fair, you know? Like, now I understand that. Now I understand it was both of them. And it wasn't like they left me, obviously. Just that typical, you know, immigrant, whatever story. But kind of going from that, so me not being a nice kid, I don't know, when you first go to a school, you're kind of succumbing to, like, peer pressure. I did have friends, but again, I went to school in Oakland, so I feel like it wasn't the best. You know, it wasn't the best crowd of people I should have been with. So I was friends with these two specific girls, and not that we were bullies, but we would like write, like graffiti the bathrooms, just do dumb shit, you know? And when I think back at it, like those are the things that makes me like awake at night, because I'm like, that's so cringe. And I'm a very self-aware person that when I thought about this topic, I just like wrote down every like cringe or dumb shit I did, and I was like, ooh, like
you made a list.
It's more than cringe. It's just shit.
Can we read the list?
It's not. I can't. It's not really a list. It's more. I mean, it's a list, but it's not cringe. It's just shitty things I feel like I did in my life. So let me just list it out. Basically, I wanted to talk about how I was low-key a mean girl, why I'm overly nice, how I was nasty to my mom, how I was kind of a pick-me, how I had a lot of guy friends, how I was a shitty friend, and I did lose a best friend. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was ugly on the inside because I was unhappy with my life, you know? And that's what makes me go back to last week's episode where you're kind of like, why did you always feel like you want to help people, you know?
Yeah.
From a young age.
Is this your atonement for your past behavior?
That's what I think, but even from that, even at that point, I did always want to help people, you know?
Yeah.
I think that nastiness, that it kind of clouded my judgment for a minute. So let's just get into it. So elementary school, yeah, I was a pretty shithead. Middle school, I was kind of awkward, trying to figure myself out. High school, again, trying to figure myself out, had more guy friends, had a good, solid group of friends. But again, I don't know what it is about it, but I was always like the humorous friend, you know? I never really felt like I belonged. So I would obviously use humor as, you know, like, if you're making everybody laugh, no one's going to, like, question you. That's kind of how it was, you know?
Right.
So I kind of would even just make dumb jokes at the expense of other people or, like, at the expense of myself. Just a lot of cringe shit, you know?
Yeah, like a court jester, almost.
That's so funny you say that, exactly. And sometimes I would feel like I was performing for my friends, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I had, like, I had a best friend. And I feel like, not wanting to go into specific details, I feel like she was almost too mature for me.
I can see that. Sense. Yeah.
You know? I feel like she already kind of knew who she was. And I was still trying to figure it out. I mean, I still had a pretty tumultuous, like, growing up. Like, it's weird, you know? When I think back at it, I don't blame her, but I stopped kind of blaming myself for that relationship to end. I think it was kind of meant to, but I do know I fucked up. You know?
Sure.
And I think that's why, to this, like, nowadays, I try so hard to be, like, there for people, if that makes sense. Because
Do you feel like you weren't there for her?
Totally, 100%. 100%. And in a weird way, I feel like I was never 100% there for any of my friends. Because I weirdly felt like I always had a wall up. Mm-hmm. And I feel like even in our relationship, in the beginning, you know, I always had a wall up. That's just me. I always keep people at arm's length.
I don't know, but I feel like when you're young and shit, like, what the fuck does being there for somebody mean? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have so little resources or, that's like, true. You know, autonomy. Like, how the fuck are you going to be there for somebody? Like, if you're like, you know, 14, 15 years old and, like, your friend's going through some shit at home, like, what do you do?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like, you can listen, you can, like, physically be there and, like, kind of, like, distract them or whatever, keep their mind occupied. But I feel like it's different, whereas, like, today you could offer them, like, you know, if they needed a place to stay, you can come over. If you needed some money, like, you could help them out. Like, there's more of an ability to help somebody now than when you're a kid.
I agree with
Besides,
that.
Like, just listening.
I wasn't 14, 15. I was, like, 18, 19, 20 when I lost the friendship.
But still, like, that's so young. Like,
I mean, it's young comparatively now, but let me just say this. When I wasn't there for her, she was there for me, if that makes sense. You know, that's why I think it was not a fair relationship in that sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, have you ever been in a friendship where you felt like you were giving, you know what I mean, giving more? And I know she felt that way.
I feel like most of my friendships have been like that.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just think, I mean, I feel like at least I was the same way that you are, where it's like I always like gave a lot and wanted to like help people and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I've told you this story before, but I remember like vividly in like 7th or 8th grade, I like saved up all this money and like bought all my friends like Christmas gifts, right? Not that big of a, like in hindsight, it's like cute. Not that big of a deal. But I remember like going around like asking everybody like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you want? I made this huge list and like I went out and I got everybody a gift. And then like nobody got me shit.
Right.
And it's like, it's not like I expected something, but the fact that like nobody thought to get me anything,
right?
I was just like, oh, like I see how this thing called life is. Like it's not always reciprocal or whatever. So
it's shit like that sticks with you.
But after that, I was just like, I will never give as freely to people who I don't think not deserve it, but like who
reciprocate,
who don't like value me the same way I value them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so exactly
like,
what it
is.
If
I think so highly of you as a friend and you don't think of me the same way at all, then like I just look like a fucking idiot.
Right, exactly. No, totally. And I feel like in some instances, like especially with like my relationship with that person, it was, I don't know, it's complicated as everything is, you know? But when I do think back to it, and if I could do it differently, I would, I think.
But see, I don't know.
But that's the, you know.
Catch-22. Everything's 2020 in hindsight. But I don't even think it's that big of a deal because I feel like without that experience or whatever, you wouldn't have come to like this
That's
realization
true.
now. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So it's all a learning lesson at the end of the
That's
day.
true.
It's like whoever your next best friend is, like they'll get the better version of you.
That's true.
You know.
That's true, and I do like that, but it sucks that she didn't. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's billions of people on the planet, dude. Like one
know.
person misses out. Oh well.
Right. No, I know, and just I don't know. I do this a lot when I just, which I probably shouldn't dwell on my past, but I do like evaluate like stuff I've done, and even just in my high school, I'm sure a lot of people could say it. I feel like the word, everybody says pick me nowadays, you know?
Yeah,
but
I fucking hate that term.
I'm sure, I keep staring at the light, it's like hurting my
because I feel like everybody wants to be picked, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like it was to a sense that, I don't know if that makes sense, but
not even picked. Everybody wants to be accepted.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a more
but I mean
neutral...
specifically as a woman, like a girl being wanted to be like liked by guys specifically, you know? That's why I felt like I was a pick me in that sense.
But I don't understand why that's become a bad thing, because like even as a guy, like you can say every guy's a pick me for a girl. Every guy wants like women to accept them. So like why is it bad if a woman wants to be accepted by men?
So the thing, what makes it bad is when you kind of put down other women. You know what I mean? You'll be like, oh, she can't play. This is not a good example, but oh, like you think she's pretty? Well, I saw her without makeup off at a sleepover. You know what I mean? She's not that pretty. That's a pick me.
That's just being a fucking hater.
No, that's what a pick me is in my opinion. And not saying I was exactly like that, but I remember trying.
So you would put down other girls in order to like...
that's why I was like, it's not the perfect example for me, but I felt like, I don't know, I would try extra hard. I would be like, oh, like, I can drink this much, you know?
Yeah.
I can just drink this much, even though I can hang with the boys, and just very, like...
where do you think that came from?
I don't know necessarily. I mean, it probably came from me not feeling the prettiest growing up. I was always kind of overweight. And funny enough, it always goes back to your parents, I swear. My mother, since she was very young, she's always been told she was very beautiful. And she still is, to this day, very beautiful, you know? So she's always told me, and this is very toxic, she would kill me if I share this with her. She would always tell me, you're not as pretty as me. Always. Even to this day. Yeah. Like, she would be like, oh, you look pretty like me, you know?
Very, you look pretty like me.
No, she seriously would say that. And I love my mother, but she also has her own issues, obviously. But yeah, to this day, she would say that. She'd be like, oh, you look skinnier today. You look pretty like me, how I used to look, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. So maybe I felt like...
It's funny you say that, because like my dad used to do like a similar thing.
Isn't that funny?
Like he'd be like, oh, like you'll never be as handsome as me. Like you'll never be as tall as me. Like shit like that.
Exactly. And that shit's so toxic when you think about that.
It's funny as fuck though, because it never bothered me, because I was like, well, you're my dad, so if I look ugly, it's because of you.
Right,
like, you know what I mean? Like
right.
if I'm not as handsome as you, like it's your fault, you know?
Right.
Like genetically, I'm like, you know.
See, you took it in a better way. Like that's not.
Yeah, I'm like super logical. Like, well, actually.
Exactly. I internalized that shit, and it's true. When you comparatively look at how my mom looked in my age now, like she was prettier than me. You know, she's skinnier. What's the word? Quote unquote, like the standard of beauty. That's what she was.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm not beautiful. Not saying I'm hideous. But like, she was and is a beautiful woman. But should you tell your daughter like I'm prettier than you? No, that's some toxic ass shit. And that's some shit I need to talk to her about. Actually, I never brought that up before. Like it just hit me right now. Like when I say it out loud, you know, a certain shit. When you say it out loud, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So stuff like that's so funny. Like your dad did the same exact thing, and I know like it sounds super harmful. I know she didn't mean that like to be like nasty. You know?
Yeah.
I know. I mean, when growing up, she always got told she was a beautiful woman.
I know, and that probably is something she held in like
of course.
high esteem, you know.
Of course,
so
she totally has that pretty woman syndrome. She stay like kind of hating on. I'll be like, she's so beautiful, and my mom be like, she's alright.
But it's like I always say, when people have negative shit to say, it's usually
insecurity of them,
a reflection of them and not you.
Of
so
course.
It's like you could be the most beautiful girl in the world, and she'll still have to belittle you because it's her own.
Right.
It's her own like beauty on the line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I so want a girl. Like I want a girl because I know how tough it is to be a woman in this world, and I've been there. I haven't had all the struggles, but I just think I'd be great at raising a girl, or I'll try my best. Not saying I'm gonna try my best, but you know, it's just I feel like it'd be a very special connection because I had such a complicated relationship with my mom, and we're finally getting to a place where we're attempting to fix it. But I guess it's fixing is like me forgiving her. She's not really changing,
she's not
if
gonna
that makes
change.
sense.
But also, it's like you're both adults now, so I feel like
Of
the
course.
dynamic is different.
So different.
She can say something harmful or like whatever hurtful to you, and it won't necessarily affect you the same way because now like
I'm
you
more
just
secure
know,
with myself.
you know shit.
Totally.
It's like, all right, mom.
Totally. And it's just, yeah. And then just going more from atonement to just like being a woman. I'm like just from a very young age. Woman, I am woman. But this, because I grew up around women, you know? Like I was raised by my grandma and aunt. So just weight and stuff like that was such a huge issue in my life. So it's funny that like I've been struggling with that my whole life, you know?
Yeah. Do you think were your like parents, your grandma and your aunt, were they trying to like push the idea of like being thin?
So my grandma and my aunts never would comment on my weight or anything. I more so saw them commenting about their own weight and not being secure with themselves. So they would always like be on the latest diet, the latest hair trend. They just wanted to be whatever was that beautiful at that time. My mother, yes, she would be like, "Girl, lose some weight." My mother was the definition of tough love.
Right. It's interesting because like you know me, I always think that being your healthiest size is always better than being obese or like overweight.
Of course.
And it really comes down to habits. And it's interesting. That's like an interesting thing that they would kind of like internalize it in the sense that they would worry about their own weight. But from what it sounds like they're just following like whatever diet trend or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas like
even to this day, you know.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
Whereas like the fucking real answer is like just like exercise and eat better.
Of course.
You know.
And I know that sounds so simple, but to a sense, exercise, yes, they knew about, but to eat healthy, not really, you know? That wasn't really common knowledge, like, in the 90s, early 2000s, if that makes sense. Like, Slim Fast was it. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig.
They pushed all that bullshit on you.
And that was more in America. Even in Mongolia, it was like, you fast, you know? Just very, like, just crash diets.
But see, that's why I think we are so blessed to live in, like, this modern day. Is because so many... Yeah, not only is there a plethora of information, but you have so many... like case studies in the form of motherfuckers on social media, like showing the results, you know what I mean?
So good it's like, or bad, like faked or not, you know, you see all of it.
Exactly. At least they're promoting something good, which is like go to the gym and fucking like eat less bullshit. And
if you just search for it, they literally give you like a diet plan. They make it so easy nowadays. So easy. They make it so easy.
There's really no excuse.
It's good and bad because I feel like too much information could be like overwhelming, and then it's like you don't want to look.
There's I feel like it's not too much information because it all kind of is in the same vein.
Yeah, it's
just true. Like you can just pick which, like there's this diet, there's that diet, there's this type of workout, there's that type of workout, there's this regimen. Like you can do it in the morning or at night. Like there's different ways you can do it, but it's all the same path.
That's
it's like
true.
We're all trying to get to a healthier lifestyle, a less sedentary lifestyle, a less fast food, processed food lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle overall, right? And I think like the difference with that being today, like even though that might seem like a lot of information, at least it's not fabricated by these companies that are just trying to sell you bullshit.
Just their shit.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
like even like some of these like fitness influencers, like they might try to sell you like a workout plan or like a training thing, but you don't really need it.
No, you're right though.
You know what I mean? Whereas like
you could go on like Google, you know, Reddit,
you can make your
whatever.
fucking own.
Exactly.
You can like, and that's the thing I think is so funny about like personal trainers. Like they're just gonna tell you to do like do 50 push-ups, like, you know.
But I think it's more of they help you mentally, you know what I mean? Like they'll make
it's an
you get
accountability
out there.
type thing.
Exactly. But do I need to pay $200-$300?
That's you really don't. You can do it on your own. It's really
That's why I'm excited for Andre for her to come out so we can gym together.
Yeah.
She's not listening. I don't even know if I censored her. I will. Shout out to you, Andre.
Well, she knows now.
Yeah.
This will be the test. If she brings it up, she listens to the podcast.
Exactly.
If not, she's a fake asshole.
She's hella fake.
We're gonna make her do 1,000 squats.
Right. Stop. But I don't know. So just stuff like that is so interesting, and just thinking about atonement, I just thought about and I guess atonement. I guess it's the right word because I am trying to better myself. You know, that is my reparations of what I've done, if that makes sense.
So the definition is kind of misleading, right? Because it's like a... do you have it still?
I do, yes.
Because like the way I understand atonement, it's like almost a verb. Like you have to do an atonement.
So like they use it as a noun, reparation for wrong or injury.
Right, but I always assumed an atonement. I think it's like a biblical phrase.
It totally is it's the process by which people remove obstacles to their reconciliation with God.
So it's a fucking verb, but they put it as a noun in
exactly.
there, which is weird.
I don't know, but yeah. So, and I think atonement is a very important thing to me because I think we all make mistakes and fuck up. I think, you know, especially going to like nowadays, the biggest topic right now is like saying the N word. You know, you see like you see like spew of like non-black, you know, celebrities saying the N word, and I think and I don't think that's right at all. But I think the difference is when you realize that she was wrong, and you can, you know.
I have a very interesting so like with the N word in particular, like.
I don't think you should say it if you're not black. But when I was a freaking dumb teenager, yes, I did say it with songs and stuff. And it was cringe. Will I admit to that? Yes. But was I like 15 and 16? Yes. Would I ever say it again? No.
So many Asian and Hispanic and some white kids who have said the N-word my entire fucking life, right?
Right.
And my personal philosophy has always been like, I'm not going to tell you what to do personally.
Right.
Because like it doesn't.
Like you don't care.
Like I don't like hearing it. Like if a white person's like, "What's up, my nigga?" Like it definitely makes me go like, "Ooh," like you know what I mean. But for me, it's like I'm not gonna like press you about it because I just don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like I'm not in the business of telling people what they can and can't do. But one day that person will say it to the wrong person, and they might just pack you out. You feel me? So for me, it's like. If you were my friend, I might be like, "Hey, bro,
don't do like,
like don't." You probably shouldn't say that shit. But if it was like some random dude on the street, and I know people, I know people who would like push an issue and be like, "Hey, what the fuck you say?" Like, it's like you about to start a fight with some random white dude who clearly this nigga
respecting. Like you think if you don't even know me, you think you can say that to me. But that's what I.
The way I always assume, because I know people like this, they probably grew up around a lot of black people who let them get away with saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you ask them 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, "Man, I grew up in the hood. Like all my niggas let me say it." And then it's like, "Well, bro, your niggas ain't here." Like, you know,
bro,
like
I think that's such a bad. Yeah, I know so many people say that, but it's such a.
It's funny too, because when I worked at Stockwell, it was like hella Asian dudes, right? Like hella hood Asians, and they all would just fucking nigga.
I know.
Nigga,
us
all
Asians
day
are
long.
so embarrassing. Like obviously not all of us, but like it's such embarrassing. Like.
I was just like, you're not even a little bit black, bro.
Like, it's the cringiest shit ever. I'm telling you, like, I used to, when I first discovered the word, you know, funny.
You're like, ooh.
No, it was a Weekend song, you know. I remember specifically discovering it. I remember, like, singing and, like, thinking it was, like, the cool thing, you know?
Yeah.
But I grew out of that, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess it's a little, not saying I'm giving those people whatever. I really didn't grow up around like that exactly.
Yeah.
So me saying that is extra out the, you know, I was just saying that to be like with the trends.
And I think there is an issue with like girls saying it because they think it's cute and they know like a guy's not going to just like punch him in the face for saying it.
Because I didn't even think about that.
I know a lot of white girls in like high school and
that's
shit.
So cringe.
He used to say that shit all the
just
time.
Like, I would never say it in front of like just regular. I would just sing it with my friends.
Yeah, but of course,
didn't make that right at all.
90% of their friends were like white dudes and Asian dudes, and then it would be like me and Mark, like the 2 black guys, and like maybe 1 or 2 other people, and they would just say it, and like we'd all be like, "That's hilarious," but you know, we're also like, we're trying to fuck and shit.
Of course,
so
like you're young, like
we're young.
You police people. No, I get you as well.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's like even then, I was like, you
cringed, right? You were like on the inside.
It's cringy, but it's cringy because it's like you're so comfortable saying that word.
Exactly.
For me, it's like I don't even think they're being racist. Like I don't think they're like, you niggas are fucking not real people. Like I don't think they're saying like they're saying it because they think it's cool. You know,
and that's how exactly.
But it's like the fact that you don't understand the context around the word and like the history, obviously, and the baggage to be able to just comfortably say it around a black person.
Exactly.
That's what makes me cringe. Just like, oh, you're a little too comfortable.
And I guess the word cringe isn't right. It's like more powerful than the word cringe. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's like a level of respect.
Nah, I think cringe is appropriate because it physically makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, like, you know what I mean?
No, I totally get you. And it's, especially like being a grown up, like, oh God, I don't like Asian people and Hispanic people who are listening out there. Why do you do that? Do you still think at your big 20s, 30s it's cool? Like, I don't get it. I don't think it makes like, you know, fucking shit makes a vocabulary, like the sentence more like, you know what I mean, powwow.
It's like a
placeholder. Like I genuinely don't get it.
It's like it's like they're in the cool kids club. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when this community who uses that word, whose words it belongs to, is saying don't say it. Like, to me, that becomes disrespectful. It's not cool anymore. They said it's not cool anymore. That's what like. People have publicly said, "Hey, don't say it," and they're still like,
that's
N-word,
like,
N-word.
but again, though, it goes back to what I was saying. Like, if you are in your neighborhood or around your friends, and that's okay.
Well, yeah,
it's
like you're saying, these people are allowing them to say it.
But that's where you spend 90% of your time. So if you go to the corner store and it slips out, you're not thinking about it. Like,
but at Stockwell at their work, I think that's so inappropriate.
everyone there was fucking ghetto as fuck though.
Yeah, it was our
like, you know what
demographic.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it was essentially like a warehouse job that
true.
you did delivery for. Like, everybody
no,
there.
It's policing. There's no HR like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like everyone there, like, high school graduate type thing.
Yeah,
just
not
looking
that we're shitting on people.
No, I'm
you know
not.
I
I'm
mean?
not shitting, but I'm just saying,
I
like,
had to make that disclaimer.
it matters because it's
it
like,
does matter. I think education level does matter.
right?
Because
for me, it's an indicator of like how willing you are to like seek out information more than like your actual intelligence. But it's like most people who go off to college, they're seeking out further education, whether it's for personal gain, financial gain, whatever, parents, whatever the pressure is. Like, they're still pursuing that shit.
I also feel like college, it puts you in a different like atmosphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
you
what
meet
I
more
think.
people.
Exactly.
You meet people from different demographics.
Exactly.
You might meet some like woke ass black person who's gonna be like, "Hey, bro, did you know about slavery?" And like put them on, and maybe they'll stop using it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what bothers me the most. Like when I know people from Alameda, like y'all, we grew up around Asians and white people. Like, you have no right saying that shit at all, and you can't be like, I lived in Oakland for like a year or two. Like, shut the fuck up.
They just think it's cool, man. It's a cool word. Everybody raps about it. Like all the black people in movies and shit, they say it. Like, it's like the cool thing to say. So if you get permission to say it, of course you're gonna fucking say it.
From who?
From their little friends or whatever.
But what I'm saying is these kids don't even have black friends. They're just emulating.
They
TV
gave
and
themselves
shit.
permission. I don't know.
That's what I think is even like worse.
Well, one day they'll say it in the wrong crowd and they'll get packed out. And I promise you,
I sadly feel like they wouldn't. You think so?
You'd be surprised. Maybe. I mean, it depends on where you are.
And I feel like these people in Alabama wouldn't even say it in front of. They know. Exactly. They know better. It's so bullshit. Like, but
that's
even cool.
But that's even better. It's like at least
so?
you know. That you shouldn't be saying that shit. If you said it behind closed doors, I really don't give a fuck. It's just if you say it around me.
How would you know? It's the tree thing if it falls.
Yeah. But that's anybody, bro. Like if fucking Joe Biden's in the bathroom taking a shit and he's just like, niggas, like, what? It doesn't hurt. Yeah. Like if that's what you want to do, if you just want to say it, you can say it by yourself in a room.
Yeah, I mean, of course. You know what I mean?
So it's like, as long as you are respectful enough to not just say blatantly. But
it's what you said. People. It's like they feel like. If they say it around black people, it's like you really feel that comfortable, huh?
That's what I'm saying.
No, that's
true. That's the.
And it's so funny like, because we live in the Bay Area, we know so many people like that. You know what I mean? Who just think it's okay.
But it's like, if you're comfortable saying the N-word around me, like, what else are you comfortable like joking about or saying?
Thank you. That's what I think too.
Like, are you gonna call me like a fucking African booty scratcher?
No, totally.
And think it's a joke?
Totally.
I would pack somebody out for that.
No, totally. I totally feel that way. Like, if you think that's okay, where do you draw? You know what I mean? Exactly. Are you gonna make a slavery? Like anything? Like, yeah, that's funny. I'm glad you said that. That's
if you call me an African booty scratcher, I'll beat you up way quicker than if you call me a nigga.
No, I definitely think like those people. Especially if you're white saying it like that, like especially a white person, you have no right.
You have no right. How dare you?
I truly believe that. Like,
yeah,
I don't think it's cute.
So how do white people atone for their mistakes of the past? Saying the N-word.
Shit, reparations.
Reparations.
I'm still all for reparations. I mean, you are too, obviously, right?
I mean, I want the money. For
what
sure.
Do you think?
Do I think it'll fix the problem? Probably not. I think it'll. What I think it'll do is like quiet the black community, and they'll always be like the government being the they. Mm-hmm. They'll always be able to say, "Hey, at least you got your reparations, right?"
Yeah.
So, and I feel like they'll probably use it as a tactic to get voters. So whichever side, whether it's the left or the right, whoever does it first, that's the side that's going to get the black vote for like the next 10, 15, 20 years. But do I think it'll ever actually happen? Probably not.
No.
I think if they're going to do it, the smartest thing they can do is do it now, because the longer they wait, the more niggas are being born, and that's just more people you got to pay out.
And I thought that interesting thing we talked about before was like mixed kids. Are they going to be counted? What do you think?
I mean, that's a whole...
Right?
They got to figure that out.
Does it have to be like that? You know what I mean? Because I don't think mixed kids... I obviously...
It depends on how mixed you are.
I guess that's true.
Because if you're half and half,
that's very true.
You should at least get half of that money.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Interesting. Or like a quarter, you get like... I guess
whatever your percentage is. But then it's muddy, because what happens if your parent... Like, what if your mom's mixed, right? She's half black, she's half white. And then your dad's...
Also mixed, you know what I mean?
Or your dad's all black. So do you just get Do you get 50% or do you get 75%? You know what I mean?
75 because you're more black, right? If we were going by that rule.
Okay, so then say you have a mom who's like a quarter black, right? White passing. And then you have a dad who's also a quarter black, white passing, right?
Logic. The rapper.
Yeah, exactly. Like, does Logic get
Did Logic have kids with like?
But I think his dad or something's like legit black. He just looks white.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's like that one.
I don't believe it.
It's like that one episode of Atlanta with Kevin Samuels.
Oh my god, that shit is.
Where the kid was hella white passing,
so funny.
and he was like, I'll pay the fucking tuition of every black kid, and suddenly he wanted to act black.
His dad's pretty light skinned.
But that looks like a black man.
I mean, yeah. Bro. I don't know if people can see it. He does look like a black man. It looks like a black man. But when I look at Logic next to his dad, he looks like he could be mixed. He don't look that white.
He looks like his dad.
When he's by himself, he looks hella white.
It's because this man got like curly ass hair and shit. Listens to fucking Frank Sinatra. That's a white man. That's what I'm saying. Like, Dolo by himself on the street. Yeah. He looks like a white dude. He's
with a white woman. It's like, not, you know.
So, like, his kid, right, is probably going to look white as shit. Yeah, like, does he get reparations?
That's what I mean, yeah.
I don't know. But
then it's like you're trying to make it a paper bag test type of, like, if you're this brown enough, you get it. Like, that's kind of fucked up, too. Because there's, very light-skinned black people as well, you know?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I'm glad we don't have to decide who gets it.
I just don't think it'll happen. I think it's too complicated of an issue.
It is very complicated.
And I think they've waited too long. Like, there's way more, like, black people today. I don't know if that's true statistically, but there's probably a lot more black people today. And do you think, like,
felons wouldn't get it? You know what I mean? There's going to have to be caps and shit.
But that's so, like...
But it's like, just, what crimes? You know what I mean?
It's too tricky, dude. Like, it's too tricky. Because, like...
Because you know how they say, like, Jewish people got like, reparations. Japanese people, they'll fucking internment. Yeah, that's why I'm just like, bro, come on.
Yeah, and they just left us hanging by the wayside.
But you're right in the sense that there was way less Japanese people. But Jewish, there was hella Jewish people. But I think there was great records and shit. But again,
they just don't care, though. Like, that's
fucking
the thing.
America's racist. Period.
They don't give a fuck enough to make it happen.
That's some bullshit. But I might be very ignorant saying this. Isn't half the population, like, black? It's like white black. Is it not?
I don't think it's 50-50.
Oh, okay. Maybe not 50. I know there's more white people, but is it not almost half?
No.
I'll look it up later.
I want to say it's like 20 or 30%. But or maybe even less, actually.
Let me look it up.
But
percentage.
The fuck was I gonna say? If I'm just saying, like, they're printing all this money for fucking Ukraine and shit. They could have. I don't know how many billions of dollars it was, but that sounds like a lot of M's for us black people.
Only 14% make up.
Yeah.
What? But I guess there's mixed and stuff, huh? So they're only. Do you think they're only counting?
Look up what's the largest demographic population?
It's white. I know it's white people.
By what percent?
Oh, okay.
Is it 50% or is it like 40?
Yeah, percent of population.
I'm gonna say 40.
I'm gonna say 60. I think white people are the demographic.
I think it's 40% white and then like 30% Asian. And
61. I knew it.
61.
61. Whites rule America, sadly, and then I think
you wouldn't know living in the Bay.
That's why Bay, you would think it was Asian. We're in our little fucking bubble, of course.
In the Bay, you would think it was fucking Asian.
And in Oakland and stuff, you would think black.
Yeah.
That's why I thought 12%. I thought it was way more black people. They can fucking afford that. Are you joking? Only 12% of the population is black.
They just don't care.
They can fucking afford that shit. That's some bullshit. I didn't even know it was that low. I was thinking like 40. That's crazy. But I have to look more into this because I'm sure they're not counting mixed kids, right? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. That's so interesting. That's some bullshit. Yeah, dude. That's pure racism. The fact that...
Well, vote for Tagan for president in 2030. First thing on the fucking ballot, reparations.
No, all jokes aside, that's some bullshit. Like, that truly actually makes me sad.
It's not going to happen. I will be surprised if it does. I'm hopeful, but I'm not like...
Yeah, no, I get you. I totally get you. I don't know. What would you do with it? I say this because I'm in this like email group chat about a reparations brunch. I know I'm not black, but like it's a whole thing. But what would you do with that money? If you got, let's say, 1.5 million, just period.
Probably just buy property.
Yeah, that's smart. To invest in property, yeah.
It's funny that...
probably get like one property.
It's funny because I actually, me and like the fucking homie and my cousin actually were talking about how like if they did ever pass it, we should all come together.
I love that.
Like if we got 1.5 each, right?
Each.
You got like 10 people.
Oh, 10. Damn. Okay, that's a lot.
10
Just the
people.
whole family, huh?
Yeah, get like your whole family.
That makes sense.
Or like very close friends, and just like.
I wouldn't trust friends, dude. But even family's tricky.
I mean, whoever you're going to invest with, you got to be able to trust them.
That's
so
true.
just pick whoever. Imagine a fairy world where it's 10 people that you trust. Family, friends, or whatever.
Whatever.
And then just buy like a big ass fucking like apartment complex, or build one, buy land and develop it. That's what I would do, because then you can control how many units are in that fucking, like say you buy like an acre of land, right? Probably for like $1 million, right? And that gives you at least like.
Is that cheap?
Depending on where you buy it.
Okay, yeah.
If you buy it in the South, it'll probably be
yeah, no,
cheaper,
you're right. You're right.
I
Definitely,
mean?
like Mississippi, all
just
that
like
shit.
A big ass plot of undeveloped land.
I don't know about Mississippi, no offense.
Wherever it is, you feel me?
I'm totally joking. It's because people shit on Mississippi. So
hey man, my family's from Mississippi.
I know, I'm joking.
Don't shit on Mississippi.
No, because is it Mississippi, or what's the number one state that's like horrible and
probably Mississippi. But anyways, I would come together with a bunch of the homies and just buy like a big ass piece of land and fucking build on it.
Yeah.
And make like
That'd be lit.
Wakanda in America.
I love it.
Because what else can you do with that much money?
Why would you waste? You know what I mean? Like, you can't just buy it.
A large percentage of people would just buy like Lamborghinis and fucking Ferraris and shit.
Just give money to more white people.
Exactly.
Like, no.
Give it to the Italians.
Please.
Fucking.
I would hope, and this part probably would never. I would hope like with the reparation, it would come with like financial education.
That would be the most valuable
happen.
part.
Financial education before even getting it, like maybe like a year-long like training or something.
In order to get it, you have to pass a financial literacy class.
It has to be exactly something like that. And it can be something like easy you can do for, like a year or something, because
a year.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe that's not the right time frame, but something, because you're right. People waste it.
Yeah.
Atonement, man. We're trying to atone for just everything.
For everything.
I think, at least for me, I think that's where I'm at. Where I'm at this stage in my life right now. I realized the hurt I've done to people.
To go back to that though, so we've established atonement is a verb. What are your actions towards atonement that you think you're taking?
That I'm taking.
To make up for your shitty childhood.
Got you. Well, with my mom, I'm trying to just not blow up on her. Like, I'm trying to like listen and be there for her and see her more as a human and not as, you know what I mean? I don't think us as children see our parents besides our parents and realize that of course she has her faults. Of course, like, she's been through shit before, And that's why even me bringing up the fact that like she brings up like how pretty I am, like how pretty she is. I know it doesn't come from like a nasty place, I just think, I don't know. I just think that's the way she is.
Yeah.
Do I think? And so that's like my atonement, me understanding her, me wanting her to be in my life more, Because I do like try to hang out with my mom, trying to get to know her as an adult, if that makes sense. That's my mom's aspect. For the friend aspect, how I'm going to atone is, what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to be there more for my friends. What that means is replying to their texts, hanging out with them. It is hard.
Basic friendship.
Basic friendship that I was not doing that well at, I will admit, like, I so crave like a deep sisterhood and like friends, like really like these deep, passionate friendships that I think are so necessary in a woman's life.
Yeah.
And I'm like not desperate, but like I'm seeking for that so much. I think I have found a couple of people, and my bestie lives in LA, but she has her own life and she has her own friends, so it's complicated.
Yeah.
And atonement for the pick-me being not a pick-me anymore, like I don't give a fuck about what men think of me. I know that sounds negative, but like I don't know what else to say besides that.
That's what's up.
Obviously, I care about what you think of me and, like, what my brother and my dad, but, like, the male gaze, do I want to, like, dress? Because that's so funny. Another thing, when I was in high school, like, I used to wear, like, obviously, like, have my boobs out, short skirt. Like, just, I wanted attention.
Yeah.
I wanted attention. I wanted attention from men. And now I dress so different. Even my mom knows this, It's my mom in high school be like, why do you always show off your boob? Cleavage. Like.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because like a lot of the times when you ask like women like why do you dress
Okay, that's a whole different thing because some people do like to dress. I'm talking about me specifically.
okay,
I'm talking about
but
me.
you said it was for attention, which I would
For me
argue. I would
specifically.
argue though at the time you probably didn't see it that way. You probably were like I just
No,
like
I
to dress
did.
this
I
way.
still
You
wanted,
really?
yeah.
You're like
I knew.
you're like tits out,
Yeah,
attention, here I come.
exactly. Like when you wear tighter clothes, I've gotten, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
I
get
got positive
right.
attention, so I knew
But
that.
that's what I'm saying though. I think like even if not on a conscious level, on a subconscious level, women do know that they get more attention by
Yeah.
being skin tight and showing
Of
off
course, I
more.
think there are like those instances, but I do think sometimes women do dress for themselves, you know? So I feel like that's a very
Okay.
convoluted, complicated conversation with all the C's that I don't want to get into. Because, I am a feminist, die hard.
Alright.
No, I really am. All jokes aside.
Anywho,
I believe equality for people. That's
yeah,
what feminism is.
yeah, that is what feminism.
I know.
Is.
I just wanted to say it because I feel like when people think feminist, they think of the very extremist feminist, and I do think equality,
which
for
we
people.
don't condone.
I mean, some guys are stupid. I'm just kidding. Do I lean a little bit more towards women? Yes, I'm not gonna lie.
But you're a woman, so obviously.
Exactly. Like, of course, my perspective's skewed, and that's why I want girls. God, whoever's out there, bless me.
I
it's
think.
also, sorry.
I think
What do you think?
that that whole friend shit, like wanting friends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that too at one point, but I'm just so goddamn busy. And when I'm
Same.
not busy, like I just don't want to be like bothered. So it's hard for me.
We're in a serious relation. You know what I mean? We have a lot going on.
Yeah, but that doesn't really get in the way. Like I feel like if I wanted to, I
No, I
could
get
go
you.
like do more shit. But
I'm just
as
tired.
like not even a. This sounds like I don't want to say like corny or whatever, but it's like I'm just so about like making my money.
No, I am
like,
at that point right now as well.
I will pick making money over hanging out like any day.
I mean, just taking next weekend off. I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have
Yeah.
took the weekend off because that's when I make the most money.
Right.
But you're right. It's like, how often do I see her?
Yeah.
And I am kind of bummed about it still. Sorry, Andrea. Love you. I'm so excited. But about the money, because I do make the most money and I'm still kind of, but it's okay. I'll make it work. It's not that serious. Hopefully she doesn't see this part. No, it's actually going to be really fun.
It just sucks because everything's so goddamn expensive.
Exactly. And
So,
we're in
like,
the Bay Area.
Even if you do, prioritize hanging out and like going out and doing fun stuff, you're probably gonna spend like $200-$300
Exactly.
doing whatever the fuck it is. Like we're not drinking or whatever anymore, but how often will we go out and spend like $200 at
Just
a restaurant or at
yeah.
a bar, and then you go somewhere else and you spend another $100 on more drinks and shit? Like it's a money suck. So it's like spend a lot of money or make money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Side note, talking about the no drinking, we're still doing the 75 days hard. We're on day 8 and still loving it, you guys.
I don't know about loving it.
I've been loving it. I've been having great mental clarity. Have not missed smoking weed. Have not missed alcohol, but I am missing sugar.
The sobriety thing's
gonna lie.
easy.
I'm missing sugar. I'm missing noodles.
I just want cupcakes.
I want orange chicken. I want Chinese food. You want what? Cupcakes?
Yeah.
I want a smoothie. I just want sweets and like food. Because I feel like we've just been eating like you said, we've just been drinking fucking water. Even though he fucking drank Sprite yesterday, but
I had one Sprite. Get over it.
so you should start over.
Nah, we're not starting over. Fuck that shit.
You have to start over.
Fuck that.
No, whatever. You're funny. I just realized that's the whole thing. You're supposed to start over. So now we established Sidy's a cheater.
I'll do an extra day at the gym or
no,
something.
Extra day of 75. It'll be 76.
Okay, fine. I'll do an extra fucking day.
Because I have yet to fuck up.
Yet. Keyword yet.
I do miss sugar, but not that much that I'll fuck up. I feel like it's helping my acne and like inflammation a lot. Also, another thing I'm trying to say, not say is like, so count how many likes I've said in this episode.
Probably like 1 million.
Heck yeah. But do you want to wrap it up soon? We're going on a walk and my dad's cooking. We're going to get some pasta.
Sure, we can wrap this one up. If you made it this far, let us know by saying the word Blumpkin.
Blumpkin? Okay.
Blumpkin. If you know, you know. Anyways.
What's a blumpkin? Is it something gross?
If
oh
you know,
God.
you know,
I was going to share it with like coworkers.
Clearly, clearly you don't know. You should tell them. Tell them to let us know about the Blumpkins.
Thank you guys for listening, and thank you for making it this far. We'll see you on another episode of
The Apartment K Podcast.
We love you. Peace and love to this world. And it's also Ramadan, so all our Muslim brothers and sisters out there, we're thinking about you. Y'all can do it.
Yeah, man. Actually, if you're doing Ramadan, let us know, because I would love to have somebody on to talk about the struggles of fasting. As a kid who grew up
I was going to say, yeah. His dad is Muslim, and he grew up.
I fucking hate Ramadan. Like, I don't even try to do it. Like, I literally hate Ramadan. I think it's not fun. And I know it's not supposed to be fun. Like,
I thought kids didn't have to do it. I thought it was optional.
I'm not a kid. I'm a grown-up.
No, but I mean when you were younger. I thought kids didn't have to do it.
Like, if you're like a toddler.
Oh, but like school kids had to do it.
I was like 11, 12.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so they're like, you can do it.
Starving myself and shit.
I see.
But, yeah, let us know if you are a Muslim and want to come on here and talk about your journey through Ramadan.
Or we'll have Sidy's dad on.
Yeah, or Ben Fall, tap in.
Do not say his government. Well, that's not his government name. Anyways, bye, y'all.
Toodles.